I've written so much for this fucking game. Jesus Christ. God damn it. Jesus Christ. It's gonna be a long one. Hey, yes, Smauglings, what is happening? This is going to be the review for Silent Hill 2. This was developed by Team Silent and published by Konami in 2001. And this is the sequel to the original game, which was a big hit on the original PlayStation, and it was one of the earliest big releases on the PS2, along with the likes of Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty and Grand Theft Auto 3. And the game begins with our central protagonist, James Sunderland, staring out at the mirror of a roadside bathroom, and we soon discover that he received a letter from his late wife advising him of her location in the sleepy resort town of Silent Hill, which he goes there to find her. And I'm going to speak a little bit about the gameplay of this game. The gameplay is very similar to that of the first Silent Hill game, where you'll be exploring the town, solving puzzles, reading notes, and defending yourself from the various malignant monstrosities that you will find within the town. And this is perhaps the least interesting part of this game, and that is completely fine, because the gameplay is something that serves the story very well in this instance, and we will delve further into that a bit later. But I want to speak a bit about the unique features of this game. And this game was very different from a lot of games at the time, because it was not trying to emulate the blockbuster bombast that you'd see in a lot of games that were released around this particular year of 2001. It wasn't interested in trying to emulate the cinematic qualities of the film industry. It was concerned with trying to be a game, and a very great game, although it did take a lot of inspiration from cinematic sources and literary sources. It still maintains its identity as being a really great game, which I do really appreciate. And it tries to tell that really intimate story about a man trying to come to terms with the magnitude of what he has done. And it tackled taboo subjects such as alcoholism, domestic abuse, mental illness as well. And nothing is provided to the player in this game in Silent Hill 2, much like David Lynch's Mulholland Drive. A lot of the meaning is situated with the player and the person that is digesting what is actually happening on screen, and you have to come to your own conclusions, which is something I really do like in fiction. I really like having to come to my own conclusions. I have to think a little bit to work out what is actually happening. I do find that really appealing, so I did like that quite a lot about this game. And I want to talk about my experience personally playing this game, and what worked really well also. And I have to really discuss the visual and sonic element of this game, because this game is absolutely astounding visually and sonically, and it's a graphical beauty 24 years later, which is astounding. That is a crazy amount of time that has passed since this game has come out, but it is a testament to the enduring legacy of this game. That's still great in my eyes. And a lot of enhancements that were made for the game really do add to it, such as the noise filter, which really does add to the atmosphere of this game. You can turn the noise filter off if you don't like it, but I really advise using it because it adds so much to the game and it really enhances your experience playing it, I think. And the acting of the game is really strange and surreal, and this was at a time where the video game industry was trying to find its voice with voice acting, and it was having a hard time because a lot of games did not have great voice acting, and you can look to the first Silent Hill for that, because the first Silent Hill did not have great voice acting. But this game is a much bigger improvement over that game in terms of the voice acting, and it's something that really solidifies the tone and atmosphere that you get from this game. That's really unique and unlike a lot of other games that you'd find around this time. And contrasting to the first game, the story is intimate and contained, and the world is not at stake like it was in the original game. The original game was very epic in terms of what was actually at stake, and this time around that is not actually the case, and I found that really refreshing. And it's odd for a sequel to be smaller than the original game, but I would say that the original Silent Hill towards the end felt like the third game in the series. It was so epic and the stakes were so high, which is really unique, but that was the case for that. And this game is much more intimate, and you feel a much deeper connection to the characters, I find. And you can tell that the developers were getting more sophisticated with the tools they were using to tell the story, which I think is really great to see whilst you're playing it. So I really did like that a lot, and it demonstrates that level of sophistication in the storytelling of the game, and it draws a lot of inspiration from literary sources such as Fyodor Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment and a lot of works of Stephen King, which is really cool to see. And being a big Stephen King fan, I really did enjoy seeing the various references that you see in this game. And I know the developers of Silent Hill always talked about the fact that they were trying to emulate the feelings that you get from reading a Stephen King novel, which is a great place to seek inspiration from, because he's an awesome writer and creates some of the best horror fiction you'd ever see. And you've also got a small and strange collection of characters in this game. It's very much like a play in the way that you get a finite number of characters that you get to be familiar with in this game. And we've of course got our main character, James Sunderland, who is compelled to search for his wife despite not knowing exactly what the reason for this is initially. And you've also got Maria, who is flirtatious yet quick to become anxious whilst with James, seemingly bipolar, and she is the doppelganger of Mary. James notes when he sees her that she looks almost exactly like his late wife Mary. And then we've also got Angela, who's searching for her mama. When she sees James in the cemetery, she says, "I'm looking for my mama," and she's seemingly looking for a mother in the town of Silent Hill. And she is reserved, shy, and seemingly suicidal from what we've seen from her within certain sections of this game. And then we've also got one of my favourite characters of the series, Eddie Dombrowski, who has a persecution complex and believes everyone to be against him. And we've also got Laura, who is a little girl who's seemingly familiar with James and his wife Mary, and is resentful towards James for some reason that we find out later on within the story. And then we've also got James' late wife Mary, the deceased wife who he is looking for in the town of Silent Hill that he doesn't know exactly the reason for. And I also have to speak about the master himself. Masahiro Ito is the creature designer for Silent Hill at this point, and his designs are astonishing within this game, and you see that from the lion figure monster, the mannequin monster, pyramid head. So many amazing designs within this game, and they are some of the best designs in horror I've ever seen, quite honestly. And they stand out more when you compare them to the Western Silent Hill games, which I really do like. I'm a big fan of the Western Silent Hill games, but the monster designs are definitely lacking in those games because they're not as human. And the monsters in this game look human and feel human, but not quite. That's the brilliant point that the monsters have in this game, is that they're not quite human, but they're almost there. And I really love that. It feels really tense, eerie, and atmospheric. So I love that about Masahiro Ito's creature designs within this game. And the CG cutscenes I have to speak about, because I remember seeing the CG cutscene for Silent Hill 2 on a PS2 DVD back in the day. I believe it was the official PlayStation magazine had a trailer for Silent Hill 2, and it belonged to my uncle, I believe. And I saw the cover, and I've told this story a few different times, so forgive me for retelling the story, but I saw the cover of the DVD and it had Silent Hill 2 on it, and it was what looked like Cameron Diaz, which was Maria, but I thought it was Cameron Diaz. I was like, oh, it's a Cameron Diaz movie. I like Cameron Diaz, so I'll little boy. And I looked at the DVD and it was Silent Hill 2, and I was like, this game looks incredible. This is a sequel to a game I've never heard of because I was very young at the time, so I hadn't played Silent Hill 1. But I remember seeing this trailer and I thought it was spectacular. I thought that was such an amazing trailer. It looked like nothing else I've ever seen before. I never seen a horror, a film, TV show, or game have a trailer that had such soothing music to it, and I thought that was really enticing to me. It made me want to play the game so much more. I never forget that trailer as an amazing trailer. I believe it was the E3 trailer for Silent Hill 1. It was the E3 2001 trailer, I think, that I saw first of all. I absolutely loved it. Amazing. So I want to speak about some personal anecdotes I've got of this game and some of the settings of this game. So I really do love Brookhaven Hospital, which is one of the areas you'll visit in this game, and it is an amazing part of this game, and it's one of the eeriest horror settings I've ever seen in my life. And it's so scary, still to this day. It really does scare me, and a lot of it has to do with the constant droning sound effect that is at a certain part of this game, and it really does add to the atmosphere. It really does make you feel really tense and scared in this game. At least it did do that for me. And there's the encroaching presence of the bubblehead nurses approaching you as well, which is absolutely outstanding. And the monster designs, as I've said, are a massive improvement over the first game, and they were clearly creatures in the first game, and that makes sense because Alessa Gillespie, the character in the first game, was the one that was conjuring all these creations. So this was a little girl that was drawing these sketches that were coming to life from her mind, and this time it's James that's conjuring all these monstrosities. So the designs are much more sophisticated and much more complex because the person is older and more developed, supposedly. So that is why they look much more complex and sophisticated, and they just look so strange yet human, and I love it. It really does compel you to look at them because they are so unique in the way that they look, and it's awesome. Really great design there from the creature design. And something I really love about this game is that the geographical positions of the environments are impossible. This game is really concerned with liminal spaces, spaces that are impossible to be. They cannot be, yet they are in this game, and it's really amazing to see. And it is really strange and adds to the atmosphere of this game. And an example of this is the first section, which is the Woodside apartment building. It has a fire escape door that leads to another building, and that is obviously something that never happened. You've also got the Historical Society, which is built on top of an underground prison, which is several hundred feet below the surface, and upon completion the players magically teleported to Toluca Lake. You just appear places which you cannot be, and I love that. It was so trippy, and it really does fuck with your mind. And I love that. I thought it was really great, and the environments shift once you return to them later in the game as well, which is another thing that is really great, when environments just change suddenly within the game. And I have to speak about this one thing that happened on this last playthrough, which never happened to me before, and I don't know how I never knew about it. It just never happened to me. Where Pyramid Head has a lair in the labyrinth, which is one of the last sections of the game, and in this last playthrough I did, he appeared outside of that lair, which fucking messed with my mind because I'd never seen that before in this version of the game. In the original game, never had Pyramid Head appear outside of his lair, and it scared the shit out of me because he's supposed to stay in his lair, but he didn't. He was walking around. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This was just too much for me to bear. Awesome. This game is 24 years old and it's still bringing new things to me, which is awesome. I really love that. That is amazing. And it just scared me so much. I can't tell you. I'm so happy nobody was about at that time, because it was so scary. And I'm just glad no one saw that, because I freaked out so much at that particular point. But that is the case with that. And the game displays a sense of narrative and thematic sophistication I had not seen in the game previously. I think that's why this game is probably my favorite game of all time, because it just showed me things I'd never seen in a game before, and it really did impress me quite a lot. God damn, I get emotional thinking about this game. God damn it. And we're getting to a point which is quite emotional right now, but it really did show me a lot that I'd not seen in a game previously, and it's just an incredible game in that way. And it's something I think everyone should experience, quite honestly. And also, we've got to talk about the twist, which is one of the all-time great twists in gaming, a standard in Surprise that the series always tried to compete with afterwards. And I noticed this when I played other games in the series, that because Silent Hill 2 was considered to be the best game in the series, they were always trying to emulate that level of storytelling, and they never quite reached those heights, even though I loved a lot of the games that came afterwards. Games such as Homecoming, Origins, Shattered Memories. It never could quite reach the heights that were reached by Silent Hill 2. And it's just a testament to how well the team worked on this game, and it's amazing to see. And I gotta talk about this scene, because there's a scene in this game that really affected me this time that it didn't affect me as much before. I was emotionally resonating with it before, but it got to me like I never had before on this playthrough, and that's a lot to do with what events have happened and losing family members since the last time I played this game. And I gotta talk about Mary's speech towards the end of the game, and it really did bring me to tears in this game. I'm gonna be completely honest, I was bawling at this section because it was so well acted, and I gotta give a lot of credit to Monica Hogan, who is the voice actor for Mary and Maria in this game, because her speech at the end of this game when she's speaking to James is really tremendous. Still to this day, it's really a great piece of acting. Not just in video games, it's a great piece of acting generally, and I was really impressed with it on this playthrough. I never really noticed how adept this was as a piece of voice acting in a game, but it's really tremendous, quite honestly. And when she's speaking to James in the hallway where she's at a hospital bed, and she's saying that she doesn't want any flowers, and she's telling him to get out, but then she's telling him to come back because she's in so much pain, and it's just so good, man. It is really tremendous. God damn it, get emotional. Let's get through it. Let's get through it. God damn it, that was such a great scene though. It's really great. I think everyone should definitely experience that. Really tremendous. I'm gonna give my verdict to this game. I'm gonna give this game, you know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be 10 out of 10. I think this game is a tremendous revolution in the survival horror genre. The visuals, the sound, the story, the atmosphere overshadow the simplicity of the gameplay, and it is quite simple in terms of the gameplay, but everything else really makes for such a masterful piece of horror storytelling. And it is one of the most immersive, intelligent, and emotionally resonant gaming experience I've ever had. It's really masterful, and I absolutely adore it. I really adore this game, and I really loved the remake. And we just got news that the original Silent Hill is getting remade, which is so great. I'm really happy this series is back and it's resonating with people, because I've always thought this series was the best in survival horror, and there was that 10-year period where we had nothing after Downpour. We had a shitty PS Vita game, which I didn't have a PS Vita, so I couldn't play anyway. But we really had nothing, and I'm really glad people are seeing the value of this series now, and we're getting more. And we've also got Silent Hill F coming out soon, which I cannot wait for. I'm really excited for that, so that is great to see. And that is my review, guys, for Silent Hill 2. And I held off on doing this for quite a while because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to do it justice. I'm still not sure if I did it justice, but I did what I could for this game, and this is just my favorite game of all time. Like I said, it's just really incredible, and I am really happy that I got to experience it again, and I got to tell all you guys about it. I really appreciate it for watching. You guys are the best. So that is my review, guys, for Silent Hill 2, the original game. I will be doing more on the main channel. I'm not as frequent with the uploads on the gaming channel, but I will be doing a lot more on the main channel, talking about movies and TV, all that. So please look forward to that, and I really appreciate your Smauglings. You guys are the best, and I will see you soon. So you guys take care, and I will see you soon.